All right. Bam. We're live here. We're live there. All right. Getting started here. Welcome. We're talking about sales and automations for remodeling. If you're on the either the YouTube or the TikTok, please feel free to type in any comments, any questions you have. Otherwise, you're welcome to just listen along. And anything at all, if you want help with estimating, selling jobs, pricing them, figuring out how to do your follow-up. All right. So a lot of remodelers want to know why they always feel stuck, right? If you've ever asked yourself, man, why am I still not great at sales? Or why is this business feeling harder than actually when I was working for somebody else? It's because you're wearing multiple hats now running a remodeling business. Hello there, Equisman. Welcome. Let me know what part of the country you're from if you have any questions. So here's what I've learned. Most contractors actually accidentally train themselves. And what I mean is you become an expert craftsman. And when you're like, oh, I know how to build stuff. You're like, well, I guess I can start a business. And you're a rookie business person. Now, you think because you've watched and worked for somebody that you understand business. But there's a whole lot that goes on behind the scenes. And it gets challenging for people. So they get stuck. They get behind the 8 ball. And then next thing you know, 10 years ago, by goals that they wanted. So here's a quick backstory I guess we can share. There's a study that a lot of people have done about how long it takes to become an expert at something. And they found out that it's about 10,000 hours. And Malcolm Gladwell talks about it in his book, Outliers. Now, let me explain how this works for remodelers. You, as a carpenter, you can be on a job site 40 hours a week. And in 5 years, you'll become a master carpenter. Then you decide, I'm going to go launch my own remodeling business. If you put the same effort in and you want to get 10,000 hours and become an expert at sales, if you're only going on a couple appointments a week, it's going to take you 15 to 20 years to become as good at selling the carpentry as you are as doing the carpentry. And that's why most remodelers go broke. They burn out. They get frustrated. They bitch and complain in all the groups that this business sucks. The homeowners are cheap. Can't find good work because they don't learn how to run the business. Because they're still at the infantile stage of learning how to run a business, right? You just need more time in the saddle, more reps, more practice. And you have to challenge yourself. When you're part of a framing crew, there's other guys out there framing. You're learning from them. They learn from you. You work together. You expand. You get faster. You get better. But when you branch out and go run your own business, you put yourself in a bubble. Hey, guys, welcome. Let me know where you're from. If you have any questions about contracting, remodeling, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just be talking about sales, automations. So when a guy puts on his business hat and says, I'm going to go become self-employed, he goes into a bubble and he doesn't get around many other remodelers. So he doesn't learn as fast anymore. Thinks that this is the way you have to do it. It's the way my old boss did it. Or I do the opposite of what my old boss did. But you're not usually around other people that are doing really well. So you don't learn from that community style anymore. So welcome. If you guys are new, if you have any questions about contracting, remodeling, please ask away. Otherwise, I'll just be talking through a presentation on selling, remodeling. So here it is. You've become good at carpentry. You've had your 5,000 hours. You've worked out in the field for 5 years. And you're like, I'm launching my own remodeling business. And the next thing you know, you're struggling, you're drowning, and you're only running a couple appointments at a week. And next thing you know, it's going to take you 15, 20 years if you last that long. Most remodelers don't survive. I think less than 10% of remodelers ever hit $1 million a year for their business. 50% of business owners fail within the first like 3 years. I think 70% fail within like 7. Most 90% probably don't even make it to 10. So it's a challenging industry to say the least. There's a lot of guys that make it as a self-employed guy. You know, I make a few bucks here, I make a few bucks there, but they never really run a business. It's not like they can take a vacation and the company is running and paying and generating revenue. Usually if they have to take a vacation, the business shuts down. So that's what I mean. It's self-employed, it's part-time. But if you want to run a full business, you want people out in the field doing the work so that you don't have to be doing it to generating revenue. That you need business skills to do that. And it's a challenge because you're already burnt out from working in the field. It's like, how do you get the time to learn all this? So I get it. I understand the struggle. It's real. First few years can be brutal. And the reason that most guys get stuck is because they just can't get enough time in the business seat and they don't take the time to get educated. You have to take classes. You have to read books, join a course, get a coach. I mean, join a mastermind. There's watch a ton of YouTube videos. But the real success comes when you start getting out into the real world and implementing. You need more reps. You have to get more leads so you can go on more sales calls. And then you can debrief after each call. What did I do well? What did I not do? Why did this one work? Why did that one not work? Did I learn enough about their personality? Do I understand different people's buying habits? Did I understand where they were in the buying journey? Right? And to become good at sales, you need 10,000 hours. To become good at marketing and advertising, you need 10,000 hours. Welcome, guys. If you're new, let me know where you're from. If you have any questions, pop them in the chat. If you want to be good at managing employees, you need 10,000 hours to do that. So you have to get going. You got to get busy. And it's hard to learn all these things. And that's why most small businesses stay small. And that's why most fail. Because the new business owner know about business. They thought they knew. You remember that day? You're like, I'm quitting. I'm going to go start my own company. I'm going to make all the money. Homeowners are going to call me left and right. Hey there, Jessica. Welcome. What is it? Happy Tuesday. Yes, happy Tuesday to you. Jessica, have you ever heard of the 10,000 hour rule? All right. No. Okay. There is a book. You don't have to buy it, but you could. I don't know if you like to read, by Malcolm Gladwell. It's called Outliers. In there, he's not the first person to come up with it, but he talks about 10,000 hours. People that have more time in the saddle, more experience, outperform. He talks about how kids that were born like in January, they do better in the school year than the kids that were born in like December that are all in the same grade, right? Because they're more developed, and how that shows. Okay, so it's all about time and experience. Think about this. Most contractors like yourself, okay. So think about this. A lot of people that get into this home service business, remodeling, I like to refer to it as, you want to go perform a service for homeowners. Somewhere along the line, you realized you like to work with your hands, you're creative, you're a problem solver, and you start doing the work, the art, the craft, and you're technically a tradesman. You paint the house, you install the sheetrock, right? You caulk the trim. And if you do that for 40 hours a week, in 5 years, you get 10,000 hours. And at that point, you're pretty much considered an expert by the layman. anyone else out in the world. You have way more time and experience. You pretty much know how to paint just about anything that you're going to come across in a house. Then you decide, I'm going to launch my business. It's going to be a piece of cake. Homeowners are going to call me all day long. My phone's not going to stop ringing. I'm going to make all the money. And you realize you just didn't even know what you didn't know about running a business. And now you need to get 10,000 hours fast of what it's like to run the business. 10,000 hours in sales, 10,000 hours in marketing, 10,000 hours in management. You don't know how to paint. All right, well, then you figured out something along the lines. You figured out how to find the people that are paint. But the concept is the average person in our industry usually gets good at doing the thing, and then they go try to sell the thing. And when they struggle to sell it, they blame the people, the customers. When they struggle to hire people, they blame the people they tried to hire. When their jobs fall apart, they blame the suppliers and everyone else. They're like, you don't know how to do it. When really, they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to manage. They don't know how to hire. They don't know how to sell because they're brand new. How would they? So that's the concept. For the average, think about this probably for you. You could probably calculate this. Count up how many sales appointments you go on per week. Let's say you go on a handful, couple, maybe 3. Spend like 90 minutes. I believe if you do the math, that means it's going to take you 15 to 20 years to get 10,000 hours at selling. And then you'll be good at it. The problem is, are you going to last that long, survive that long? You know, I don't know. You're going to be burnt out. Certified findologist, PhD level. Okay, so then you'll accelerate that. Maybe you'll get it done in half. So you see the concept. Like if you want to get good at selling your painting services, you got to get reps, time. You got to go on as many appointments as you can. You got to practice. You got to grab somebody in the company and say, hey, we're driving to the job. You and I are going to role play. You be the homeowner. I'll be the salesperson. Be tough on me. You know, whatever. Like, tell me now on my objections. Let me work on my communication skills. Let me work on building rapport. And you just have to run these scenarios over and over again so that it flows. So that's basically what I was getting into. What questions do you have? Anything that's on your mind? You having trouble with any projects? How do you estimate, by the way? You told me square footage. Are you using your own? Do you have software that you use? All right. Okay. All right. We should talk at some point. So not today, but so anyway, my schedule today at 4:30, I'm doing another call. We're introducing AI software to a handful of remodelers. And the beauty of where technology has gone is this. In the past, the way I would estimate, I use a spreadsheet, Google Sheet, Microsoft Excel, doesn't matter. And on the left side, I have all my tasks, prep, planning, permitting, designs, and then it gets into demolition, hauling, framing, insulation, mechanicals, electric, plumbing, HVAC, sheetrock, painting, trim work, flooring, right? Landscaping, all those are the steps that it takes to perform. So in your world, to sell a painting job, you have to somebody's got to go get the materials, make sure the van's stocked, whether you're going to need scaffolding, a ladder, extension poles, tarps, whatever. So you have to make sure you got all your materials, you get in the vehicle, then you have to make sure you got the paint. All right, we're going to need this and that and the other supplies, some 5-minute mud if you got to patch up some nail holes. And then you have to prep the space. You're wiping down the baseboard, sanding a little bit, you're laying out your tarps, moving the furniture. Then you do the priming, then you do the paint, the finish coats, then you do the touch-ups, or you probably threw caulking in before, and then you're cleaning up, right? And then you're done the job. So all that has to be accounted for when you're doing an estimate. Plus you have all the overheads that your business has. Then you have to factor in your profit and your management time skills that went into that. And now you have a price. And you have to do that over and over again with every job, right? You do it by square footage. Some people do it by time, do combinations. So we started putting together AI software where, just like I talked to you, you can be driving in your vehicle just after you met with someone. You can hit the button on the app and you talk it through. I just looked at the 1980s McMansion. It's a 4,000 square foot home. They want us to repaint the entire first floor. It's 1,500 square feet of living space. It's this many square foot of ceiling. It's this many square feet of walls. It's this many linear feet of trim. It's this many doors. And as you talk to it, it starts building the estimate for you. Then when you have a second, you can pull up the app or go to your computer. And now all you have to do is go in and adjust any line items that you don't quite like the numbers. If you want to make a tweak here, a tweak there. Now, that's how this software works. And here's the beauty of it. Each time you estimate, it builds off of the old estimates that are similar if you want it to. So in my world, houses that are built at a certain time frame, 1920s, 1950s, 1970s, the structures are built differently and there's little nuances. And I want my software to remember all those little things that come up. So when I'm estimating a kitchen remodel from a 1940s house, it makes sure that I get all the key points, right? So the software gets smarter. It has a memory of your work, so that as you keep estimating, the jobs just get more and more accurate over time. How does that sound to you? Does that sound like something that's different from how you're doing it now? Yeah. So anyhow, that's what behind the scenes, that's one of the things I've been working on for a while. I have a couple developers and we're launching it today to a handful of people to start trialing it. They got to break it, tell us all the things that are wrong with it, what they don't like that we thought we would want it in there, the things that they do love and think are awesome. Yeah. So we'll keep in touch down the road. Maybe if you're looking to try something out, maybe this could be something for you. I don't know. But it's pretty cool what's happening in the industry right now with technology, especially with the way you can talk and get a little quicker and more accurate estimating. So anyhow, you have any questions about sales? Any questions about pricing work? Are you looking at raising those markups a little bit, changing your price just a little? Lead gen. Yeah. Okay. Very good. For me, sales is a progression. And I'm sure you understand. It's a ladder. And each rung is just you getting more comfortable, putting it out there, raising your price slowly, being okay with hearing no and being okay with asking them why it's a no. Well, tell me why. And seeing if you can really uncover what it is that really makes it a no, because it's often not what homeowners say it is. I don't know if you've ever worked retail. When I was in college, I worked at Eddie Bauer. And every day somebody would come in and I'd say, hey, a part of my job, you'd have to greet them. If you're the closest one to the entrance, you got to greet the person. And I'd say, hey, how are you doing? Welcome to Eddie Bauer. How can I help you? And they'd always say, well, I'm fine. Great. Thanks. I say, can I help you with anything? No, we're not interested. Now, they're interested. They wouldn't have walked into the store if they weren't interested. But they're so afraid of me trying to sell them that they say they're not interested. Homeowners do the same thing with price. So follow me. What I started learning how to do at Eddie Bauer was, if you walked in and I noticed that you were wearing something red, I would just say, hi, welcome to Eddie Bauer. My name's Mike. Let me know if I can help you with anything. I'd leave. I'd go somewhere in the store, find something that was red or that I thought you might like in what I would guess is your size. I'd bring it over to you and say, hey, this is something we just got in. I don't know if you'd seen it, but I'm getting ready to put it out on the rack. I wanted to show it to you. And normally they would grab it from me and then they look at it. And now all of a sudden we'd have a talk about, oh, well, I don't like this one. I was wondering, did you have something with a zipper? Or I need something with a hood? All of a sudden, now I'm having a conversation about what they came to buy. So remodeling is the same way. We have to flip it to where the homeowner, we have to put out there some things so that they can tell us no. Then that breaks the ice and allows them to tell us what it is they really want so that we can get to yes. Exactly. Spark the conversation. So a very simple parallel that even today I was just shopping at Black Friday. People don't even teach this anymore. I don't understand. Like, I knew this. I got taught this when I worked at Eddie Bauer in the 90s. And yet you walk into a store today and most people don't do that. But if they would, they'd get a much better result. And it's a much more pleasant experience for the person who's in the store buying. Because you're there to buy something. You just don't want to be pushed and sold. You want to be presented and explained. Like, oh, this is really cool. You just got that in. What's nice about it? Anyway. So is there anything I can help you with, Jessica? Anything you want to put out into the ether? Anything that's bugging you? Anything you're excited about? Okay. While you're thinking, I'll share this. A few years back, I started understanding much more in depth about how psychology works. And I've always been fascinated how the human brain works. We all have a brain. Most of us don't even take the time to understand how it actually works or how another person's brain is working, right? We just assume that we know the world as it is for us. And yet we experience the world differently. All right, at my laptop now, creating a client prep list for them to prep for our arrival to work at their home. Yes, perfect. So all of that should be presented in how it benefits the homeowner to ensure that they're getting the perfect painting experience from your company, right? I don't know if you have, like, our company policy is we don't touch anything of value. No collectibles, no china, no glass, no ornaments. The only thing that we would possibly move we'll move furniture, but they have to remove all the things. They have to take the items out of the drawers, right? If it's a china cabinet, they have to take all the china out. I will move it, but just the furniture. But does that make sense? So I don't know how your company handles that kind of stuff. Okay, same for you. So this, you might possibly want to include some things like that. How do you handle pets? This is how we handle pets. I let homeowners know that I love pets. I've had cats, I've had dogs, fish. My brother-in-law has chickens, but I don't manage your pets. Because do you really want my carpenters running around taking care of your pet? No, we're here to do the work. So if the pet's going to be in the house, you have to guarantee me that you're going to lock it away somewhere, in a room, in a crate, in a cage, whatever. Or it has to go to daycare, the neighbor's house, grandma's house, whatever. We don't manage the pets. The homeowner has to manage the pet. If the pet gets out, it's not my fault. Yeah. Okay. So that's a good thing to let people know. We love pets. We don't manage them. If you want me to manage them, I would do it this way. I'm going to hire a dog sitter at your expense, right? Like I'll joke with them. We could put it in a really nice doggy daycare. All right. Kids. If kids are under like 7, they need to be managed, not by me, by the homeowner. So we are not babysitters. You'll have homeowners that'll be like, hey, I'm just going to run to the store and I'm going to leave my 2 kids here unsupervised while you guys are working with power tools and cutting a hole in my wall. Like, nah, So we have conversations like that with homeowners if they have kids. We discuss where we are going. Where would they like us to park? Where can we park that won't frustrate them? Yeah, exactly. You're their contractor, not their babysitter. Yeah, we have to be very clear where we can park, where we can't. Guys have to make sure that they put, if they have an oil leak on their transmission or in their engine, they have to make sure that they're putting some sort of a containment system under it so it doesn't stain driveways, stuff like that. But really, we just want to know from the homeowner, is it okay? Where can I park so that you're not going to be agitated with me all the time and we're not going to get in the way? Which door are we using to come in and out? How are we getting materials in and out? If we're using a bathroom, which bathroom? Some homeowners don't even want you using the bathroom. That's fine. We just have to understand what the rules of engagement are. And, who's taking things off the wall? All the artwork. Is that you? Is that the homeowner? I don't know. What other things are you putting in your guide? Okay. Very good. That's nice. Yeah. So when you're, that can lead to when you're presenting your offer and when they're still deciding, it's probably a good, and you probably already do this, you probably pre-frame and share with the homeowner. What's great about most of the clients that hire us? It's like we're good old friends. They welcome us into the house. Some of them provide us coffee in the morning. They'll give us a little snack. Maybe they make us lunch. We're free to use the facilities on site. It makes for a very pleasant, enjoyable experience for all of us. We're able to come in, come out, get the job done. Remove rugs, clear countertops, decor, put away valuables, secure pets. There you go. All right. That sounds good. Yep. It is, yeah, all the things that you want them to know ahead of time so that they can't say, oh, I didn't remember you saying that when you show up at 7:30 and you're supposed to paint the living room and all their stuff's still there. So it's very good to have that sent over. Some comments have been filtered. Huh, which comments were filtered? Yeah, it does. Yeah. Homeowners like, oh, I just thought you'd work around it. Not today. Yeah. It really does happen a lot. Yeah, you really have to. You've probably heard this concept, 3rd grade level. When you communicate with people, for the most part, you want to avoid big words, high level concepts. Imagine that the homeowner is a 3rd grader. And if you can communicate to them on that level, like your writing style of this guide should be, I am communicating this at a 3rd grade reading and writing level. Keep it simple, stupid, and you'll have the most success. Yeah, you really have to dumb it down. Yeah, a lot of people live in their own little bubble, and they have a lot of stress, anxiety, or just the focus is right there. They don't think for how they are impacting others at all. They can only think for themselves, right? And basically, because a lot of people, that's the only way they could survive, right? Like a lot of people were ignored, raised by terrible parents, so or inattentive parents because the parents were busy trying to survive themselves. So a child that's been left like that, they can't have that mindset to where they're thinking for everyone. Like how some people are good at it, but not everyone. Creative, sassy, and fun. ChatGPT. Yeah, it'll excite the clients. Awesome. Exactly. Your arrival. Yeah. You're sparking. This is the launch for their transformation. Everybody loves seeing paint go up on the wall. It's an immediate satisfaction. Something that looked ugly in the morning is beautifully transformed by the afternoon. So, all right. Let's see, Jessica. What else do I have in my notes for today? All right. I'll leave you with my last tip. Over the years, I've learned that I call it ARI, Applied Relational Intelligence. And this is how I view my relationship with my staff, clients, is that I'm always asking myself, am I listening better? How can I listen better? How can I improve the type of questions that I'm asking so that I can get clarity for both my customer and for myself? As soon as I assume that I think I know what they're saying, ask another question about it. Dive down deeper, right? They call it 7 levels of why. Keep asking, and why is that? And why is that? And okay, I hear that. So, and why do you want that? Or why are you doing that? And if you ask that multiple times, then you'll get clarity. The first time they answer, it's still, we're making a lot of assumptions. And I find that when I do all that, it helps me reduce the fear in the room, and it helps me build more trust without applying any pressure. So that would be my thought for you for the day. Just be asking yourself, how can I make sure I'm listening well and asking better questions to reduce the fear and build trust? All right. Jessica, anything else you want to talk about? Otherwise, I'm going to go get ready for this other call. Ba-ba-ba. Did you go to my app? Have you, I'm sorry, my bio. Did you click on the bio? Did you download the book? Did you see did it give you the option to book a call? Eddie, if you're still in here, welcome. So let me back up. And Jessica, if I understand what you're saying, you went to the bio in TikTok, you clicked the link, and then it got you to get the free book, Get Paid to Estimate, the Spark Method. There should have been an email that lets you book a strategy call. It's going to ask you a couple questions about your business, and then it lets you pick a time. If you get a chance, just double check your email. Otherwise, I can forward it to you. Oh, thanks, Eddie. Eddie, what part of the country are you from? Eddie, if you've been in here before, please forgive me. But I don't feel like I know where you're from. Albuquerque. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you for hopping on. Eddie, look, if you're following my account, you can ask questions at any point. All right. You can jump in here on the lives. Feel free to direct message me. If you do the link in my bio, you can get the copy of my book, and we'll do we could do a half hour of this, but you and I talking straight. Jessica, that's the same offer to you. You share with me a little about your business. You'll walk away with a little bit of a strategy after that half hour. So, all right, Jessica, you're saying you went in. Jessica, did you go under a different name? I don't see your name in the system. Yeah, Eddie, thank you. Okay. I am damn. Yeah, Ed. All right. So Jessica, when I look on my you didn't fill anything out. Okay. Yeah, so it's a they call it a lead magnet. Basically, it's a pop-up should come up on the screen. It's going to ask for your name, your email, and I think your phone number. And once you click on that, then automatically we're going to send you the download copy of the book. Okay. This isn't the cover, but it's a book like, you'll get the cover, you'll get a digital copy of it. And then if you want to book the call, it just asks you for some questions, just so I have a little sense of your business before we jump on the call. All right. And yeah. Yeah, awesome. Look forward to it. And you bring your best questions that you want, something you want to strategize on for your business. All right. You too, Eddie. If you want to strategize, if you're still here, you just bring the toughest challenge, or the biggest goal you want to knock down, or something you want to fix for next week. All right. Appreciate you being here. And Jessica, good luck. Jessica, are you using Canva for your editing and making your guide, a nice digital guide? Are you familiar with Canva? I might have lost her. Okay. Jessica, you may, after you get all the words, I like Canva to do a lot of my designs, to make my guides. ChatGPT does an okay job with designs, but I don't know if you've used Notebook LM yet with Google. You might be shocked at what it can put together for you too. It has a slides feature or an infographic where you can create. It's pretty cool. So anyway, best of luck to you. You'll have to share it once you get done. I'd like to see what you come up with. All right. All right. Jessica, thanks for. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Notebooks LM is crazy. It really, I feel, man, you can get so much more done now in a business if you just have access to a laptop or a desktop. All right. Thanks for tuning in, Jessica. Good luck with the guide. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. And we'll talk. Take care. All right, we're shutting down. If you had any questions, I don't see any in the YouTube, so we'll end that.